Hello and welcome to Music Shack Podcast. This is episode number 44. This week joined by myself, Bruce,
Ron,
and Ed. Way to go, Bruce.
What?
You allowed us to cover our first folk album.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm honored.
Oh, man.
We'll get to that in a minute, though.
Yes, we will.
Mm-hmm.
Because, of course, we got to start with our weekly billboards.
Yes, we do.
So, Bruce, why don't you start us off?
All right, I'll start us off with the Billboard Hot 100 as of the week of May 22nd, 2021. We've got Leave the Door Open by Silk Sonic at number 1, Levitating by Dua Lipa at number 2, Peaches by Justin Bieber. God, it froze. It will not scroll. Hold on.
That's fine.
Technical difficulties.
We really only need to know Justin Bieber at that point.
Honestly, we can move on.
At number 3, Save Your Tears by The Weeknd at number 4, Kiss Me More by Doja Cat at number 5, Astronaut in the Ocean by Masked Wolf at number 6, Rap Star by Polo G at number 7, Interlude by J. Cole as a new entry at number 8, Without You by The Kid Leroy at number 9, and Montero by Lil Nas X at number 10.
I feel like Astronaut should be at least top 5. It feels a little wrong to have it sit at just number 6.
It's going there. It was at number 7 last week.
I better go up again.
Yes.
Please.
Moving on, we can check out the artist charts. Number 1's DJ Khaled. Number 2's The Weeknd. Number 3's Billie Eilish. Number 4's Moneybagg Yo. Number 5's Justin Bieber. Number 6 is Luke Combs. Number 7's Dua Lipa. Number 8's Ariana Grande. Number 9's Drake. And number 10's Lil Baby.
All right. Moving. I think Billie Eilish is doing like a TV series or a movie or something because she's been. I think that's part of why she's trending so much.
Okay.
I saw a trailer for something she's doing, some sort of production. But moving on to our Billboard 200, we have Moneybagg Yo up to number 1 with A Gangsta's Pain. Up to number 2 is Morgan Wallen with Dangerous. We have down to number 3 is DJ Khaled with Khaled. Staying at 4 is Justin Bieber with Justice. Up to 5 is Dua Lipa with Future Nostalgia. Staying at 6 is Rod Wave with Soulfly. Down to 7 is Young Thug with Slime Language. Staying at 8 is Pop Smoke with Shoot for Stars, Aim for the Moon. Staying at 9 is The Weeknd with After Hours. And back to number 10 is Luke Combs with What You See Is What You Get.
Gotcha. Alright. So where do we want to start this week?
That's a good question.
Very good.
Where do we want to
swing?
Do we want to start with the curveball?
Which one?
Let me turn my mic down. Shit.
The curviest of the three.
Yes.
I don't know. Let's see.
Because
Stolen Goods by Tejon Street Corner Thieves. I believe it's pronounced.
Tejans, I think it's Tejon. Anyway, it's a folk album.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That sounds like it was inspired by the Old West.
That's kind of what the genre entails, for the most part.
Well, no, I always thought when I think folk, I think old time. Yeah.
It's kind of where it originated.
Never mind, Ed.
Watching the reasoning in your head was hilarious.
It tried to put the pieces together, and it wasn't quite there.
We need video.
Not for me. Not for me.
I could say that was a little... not too surprising.
I think the next time I play Red Dead, I'll probably have this playing in the background.
Yeah, I think that's what it would be meant for. But I tried going through it, and I got most of the way through, and I hit a point where I was like, I can't do this anymore. Because don't get me wrong, in its own right, it's good. I just don't,
Mm-hmm.
The sound is not for me. Some of the lyrics are funny.
I gotta say,
but
I played the entire album at work, and me and a few other coworkers were just cracking up listening to Rollin' in My Sweet Baby's Arms. Because at one point he's just talking about quitting out of crack, and he's like, "That's never gonna happen."
Mm-hmm.
She's like, oh, maybe I'll quit off my methamphetamines. It's just like, what the hell is this guy singing about? I lost paying attention.
I lost paying attention.
Yeah, I lost it.
Yeah, they did have some. They did have some weird shit on here. Like Down by the Bay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was funny.
It was hilarious, but it was weird.
Oh yeah.
It's quite juvenile too.
Especially the line about the giraffe at the end, which kind of threw me for a loop for a second. I was like, wait a minute.
The whole thing, I was like,
Oh yeah, no, true. But like, I was half paying attention, and then I heard the part about the giraffe, and I'm like, okay, this took a turn.
Yeah, the whole song's a turn. What do you mean? It's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's out there.
Yes.
But yeah, like I said, I didn't care too much for it, but in its own right, it has its gems.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we can go into. Do we want to go complete switch or lean more towards me and then go to you?
We'll lean towards you because I feel like
Better
if
segue.
you're gonna play the albums, it would actually flow
Okay.
a little better. Actually, it'd flow a lot better than the album I wanted to talk about.
All right, so moving into what I brought was the an album called The Abyss by George Reagan, the Dead Son, who is Johnny Three Tears from Hollywood Undead. This is his first little venture into solo artist territory, and personally, I think this is amazing. I expected something a little bit more heavier instrumentally at some point on here, and it just was none of that. It was a lot more lighthearted instrumentals, but the context behind his lyrics, it was the heavy part.
Mm-hmm.
And the dude's always been a great lyricist. Always. So I just, everything on here was, I thought it was very well put together, very well thought out as to what he wanted to convey through each line. And I think it's really good. And he has a song on here, pretty much like dedicated to his daughter, which is, I think is awesome. And they have Young Part 2, which it is pretty much like a part 2 to that whole story, but you gotta really like pay attention for it, and you gotta know what the original song is about for this one to make sense as well. But on its own, it's still really good too. Which it's funny how that is starred as a single for Apple, but it wasn't a single for the album. I'm kind of glad it wasn't. I feel like that would have been like I feel like it would have been a standard, and people's expectations would have been sullied if that was a single that he dropped beforehand. So I think it was a good choice not to do it. I liked Porcelain a lot too off of this. That was one of my favorites, I think. But yeah, I thought it was good.
I gotta say, Porcelain was a standout. I kind of have mixed emotions about it because part of me enjoyed it, part of me felt like there was something lacking. But
I think it's just the intensity that, as Johnny Three Tears, he's known for. But if you look at it from a different angle, where he's just an artist who wants to create music about the things that he wants to create music about, and the topics he wants to discuss or bring to mind at the very least, this is so much. This is the culmination of however long he's been working on it. I don't know how long. I want to say it's probably a good couple of years that he's had this going at the very least.
I mean, I have respect for any artist that wants to sit there and try something different than what they've been doing. But it just, I don't know, just like I said, felt like there was something missing. I don't know.
Yeah, it's 40 minutes, 11 songs. I would recommend it, especially if you like Hollywood Undead and you want to support any of those guys want to do their own thing. Keep an open mind when you go to listen to this, and then try it out.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I would say.
Because it is a lot softer than Hollywood Undead.
Yes, which is, like I said, which is why it's a bit of a loop. But
Yep.
it's definitely good.
And I guess that brings us to the off season.
By J. Cole.
Yes.
I enjoyed this a lot, actually.
I was only able to listen to about half of it, but still good.
Yeah. Well, the second half is actually better than the first half.
Oh, is it?
Yes, actually.
No,
Yeah.
I'm disappointed.
Oh man, dude. Pride's the Devil is probably one of the biggest standouts for me. But solid fucking lyricism throughout the entire album.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat, it hits you with the first song on the album, which is 95 South, which actually samples Little John at the very end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's who you hear yelling,
Gotcha.
"If you're scared to throw it up." Yeah, that's...
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
Weird that it, okay.
Yeah. I actually enjoyed like the fact that some of the songs didn't have a hook.
Yeah, it kind of just goes into it.
Yeah. Because a lot of times, like with any form of music, a lot of times the hook is just repetitive. Especially with modern music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, it's actually kind of a welcome surprise to not hear hooks on some of the songs. But
It's very cohesive, very thought out. He gets his point across
yep.
very, very well. And it's just very to the point. Like there's no setting up for it. He just goes for it
Yep.
and lays it out in front of you. Yeah, I thought it was really good, which I don't say often for this type of stuff.
Yeah. I was honestly shocked when we were setting up and you said that you enjoyed the album. It's like, well, okay. Because I walked right in. I was like, I apologize for recommending a rap album, but here's what we got.
No, like I said,
like I said in the group chat, this is definitely, like, this is the album to beat. Like, if you're making a hip-hop album, this is the album to beat.
yeah, because
For this year.
and he does a good job at showing that, like, having a catchy beat to something and a good flow is not everything. He puts some work into his lyrics, and as a lyricist, he's always been a genius.
Yeah.
And this proves that he still has it, and that it's still a key component to having a memorable set list, especially now.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
because I was paying more attention to him than I was anything else.
First song on the album, I mean, he just goes directly at the industry.
Yeah.
He goes, I love watching these guys enjoy all the applause when your 30-song album sells a measly 100,000.
Mhm.
It's like...
It's like, damn.
right at the industry. Yeah, I mean, honestly is one of my biggest complaints. Why have a 30-song album when you can just take the top 10? Like, Kanye West was known for going into a studio to record an album, recording 40 songs.
And only coming out with like 10.
Yeah, that's what he did.
Well, that's how metal music, or like rock music in general is. Like even like in metal, like there are groups that only do 10-song albums, 8-song albums, 5 even.
Yeah.
Like if that's all you got and it's your best, do it. Put it out. Somebody will enjoy it, somebody will have it on repeat, and there will be a group talking about it.
Yes, especially today,
Yeah.
where there's probably a podcast being recorded probably about 5 miles from us. Or less.
I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, no, like you don't need to have these super long set lists unless you're doing like a deluxe, and sure, you throw in some extras. But if you're doing a standard edition, there's no need to have more than, I would say, more than 12. And in some cases, you can get away with 14 or 16, but they have to make it make sense, and they have to be substantive.
Yes.
You can't just throw them on for a streaming, like a streaming streak or whatever. What's the word I'm looking for? Streaming incentive. There you go.
Yeah.
You can't just throw them on there for that. You gotta have. I personally think you should have a meaning to every song you put on the album. There's a reason album pacing exists. We're going back on that again, but like there's a reason that exists, and why you should critique everything you write. Because I mean, Skillet at one point wrote 60 songs for, I think it was Unleashed, and they walked out with like 12 or 15 in total, if you include the deluxe. So it's like, you know.
It always makes me wonder, like, when I hear that, what did they throw out?
Right.
You know? Because, like, Skill, they put out, you know, good music. Like, so it makes you wonder, what did they throw out? Like...
Well, that's what I wonder with, like, everything that I listen to.
wonder how much of that do they come back to later, and it's like, oh, we can expand upon this idea, and they use it somewhere else.
Right.
It was, Avenged Sevenfold unleashed an album last year that was nothing but songs that they didn't release.
Over, like, a 20-year span, almost.
Yeah.
18, I think. So, yeah. It's like, it just amazes me, like, they have so much material, and they literally sit down and just like, alright, here's what we want, here's what we don't think will work for what we're going for, here's what we can throw on the back burner for later, remix it later, retool a couple things, rewrite a couple things, and use it for a later release. Because that's what a lot of times it's part of what happens. So it amazes me that there's so much they have unused. But yeah. Back on the actual album, like I said, I think it's good. And I think you're right. This is like the one to this sets the bar.
This is the bar. Like before this, I had Conway the Machines, La Maquina.
La Maquina.
Yeah, there we go. As the bar, because I'd listen to that album, then listen to whatever rap came out that week, and it would not sound good. This album, Nicki Minaj dropped an album this week. Kodak Black dropped an album this week. I could not get through their albums after listening to J. Cole's album. And that's no disrespect to them. It's just how amazing this album was.
Yeah, no, I feel like this is the bar.
This is definitely
for rap
the bar
right now. I'm hoping it holds, and it doesn't just change within a couple weeks. I'm hoping it just holds for like a couple months, and see just what happens.
I mean, there's DMX's posthumous albums set to release later on this month.
Okay, so yeah,
and that's got Jay-Z and Nas on a few of those tracks. It's gonna be nuts. Well, I'm hoping it's gonna be nuts. But yeah, I guess we can move on to your singles.
Sure. So I gave you guys two separate ones. More so, the one I want to talk about is the the Motionless in White one. But I also gave you guys the new Born of Osiris song, which was Angel or Alien.
Absolute banger.
Yeah, that's also the title of the album, so this is the title track that they gave us.
Ooh.
Whatever direction they're gonna go in for the whole thing, which I think is pretty much what this and the other one, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but that direction that they're going in, White Nile, that's what it was. Whatever that direction of sound that they're going in, which is like a mix of what they normally do and some modern like Spirit Box-esque type stuff, I am all for. Because you can definitely hear the influence that it's still Born of Osiris, but there is some there's some different structuring going on. Like entirely for both songs. Like it's not your typical structure where it's like verse and blast beats and then breakdowns and some solos or whatever. It's more typical, but it works. But yeah, it's like I said, I'm excited. That's not for a while though. I do find myself going back to them here and there. Their old material definitely holds up pretty well. The other song I gave you guys was the Motionless in White quarantine experiment that they did for voices, called the Synthwave Edition.
I think it's an understatement that I loved it.
This was really good. And like last week I told you guys, the teaser that they gave us, it initially sounded like Diary of Jane, but once they put a title to it and I heard the full thing, I'm like, okay, this makes more sense. So it wasn't what I expected, but I was still very pleased nonetheless.
I was very happy going into it because, I mean, obviously, it's one of my favorite genres, synthwave and whatnot. But then a song that I kind of know from Motionless in Light made it even better.
Yeah, I love Chris's voice, and the way he sings on this one is phenomenal on this version of it. And then just the lyrics of the song itself, they hit really good on the original, but I feel like they hit better on this just because it's more lyrically focused. Whereas the other was like where the original is more of a balance between the instrumentals and Chris. But this, I feel, is just lyrically it hits better in almost every way.
I gotta say, went through the entire thing, picking apart the synthwave. Oh, it's beautiful all the way through.
I almost want to hear them take specific songs from all of their records, and I mean all the way back to Creatures, like the initial debut album, which was 2010. I want to see them pick apart what songs they want from that, from the second one, which was, can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but from their second release, from Reincarnate, maybe another one from Graveyard Shift, and something from Disguise, and do like an EP of just synthwave editions of these songs. Because I'm curious what they would choose, and I'm very excited just for the thought of it. Cause
I think a good amount of their songs would fit it very, very well.
Oh yeah, no, they include some electronic elements in older stuff and some newer stuff. Because I think they have a keyboard as part of the group.
Okay.
And they're no strangers to doing to experimenting and incorporating other types of other styles in what they do. So I think it would be cool. Because, I mean, in 2014 they covered Du Hast. And it's good.
Du Hast Mish?
Yes, Du Hast Mish.
Du hast mich.
But yeah, I want to see more like this. But Bananas, I'm not going to talk about the other album that I have just because, other than it being stupidly brutal and heavy and hardcore, that's all it has, and I like it, but there's like nothing to really note off of it. So I have nothing else.
All right. Okay, moving on to things we've been listening to.
An intermittent
listening.
Yeah, things we're listening to when we're not focusing on the pod.
I've been doing a lot of still on that habit of listening to things that I haven't listened to in a while. An example would be Avenged Sevenfold with City of Evil. I went through some of that on my way to work one day, and it's Beast and the Harlot is still one of the best intro tracks to a record to exist. It's not my favorite album they have, but it's still good. Their cover of Walk I still love. Crossroads is another single they have, which is on that album of unreleased things. That's still really good. I went through some Breaking Benjamin again. Still on that weird kick where I want them at least once. I listened to some of Bury Tomorrow with the most recent record they have, which is Cannibal. I was kind of just all over the place. From Ashes to New, because Panic is phenomenal, and that was what I was in the mood for. So that's kind of where I've been at. A little bit of I Prevail at one point with Trauma. Yeah, that's where I've been at.
All right.
KDA. KDA I love.
Oh, of course.
Want more of that.
The album you recommended actually made me want to listen to an album I have saved on my phone from a few weeks ago. 2 Feet's Max Mako's Dead, right?
Okay. How so?
Very similar in like the chillness.
Okay.
Although no offense, I enjoyed 2 Feet's album a lot more.
That's
But-
fine.
But yeah, I went running through that. I went running back through Zoo's Dreamland 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Naturally Sleep Society's While She Sleeps by
Sleep Society by While She Sleeps.
Yes. Just the good shit dropped this year.
So yeah, yeah, it's gonna be. I think a lot of what we're gonna hit for intermittent listening is gonna be newer stuff, just because there's so much that came out this year so far.
Yeah.
That's been good.
Surprise, surprise.
I went on a Method Man
Bruce
kick.
is always the wild card in this.
I went on a Method Man kick Monday,
Okay.
but I don't think Method Man's released anything too recent.
There's a group that I follow. They're a newer group called OK Goodnight.
Mm-hmm.
They're metal, but it's more like alternate metal. And the lead singer, like the vocalist, she's very ethereal in her vocals. And they have some good stuff. They have an album from 2 years ago, and they have an EP they released in 2020. So I went through the EP, and it's very good. I'm very excited for more of their stuff. But I listen to them because the vocalist features on the Ruby soundtracks as the vocalist for those.
Okay.
So.
And then me over here, kind of expect what I've
Bruce
been
has
listening
been everywhere.
But obviously Beyond the Black, Amaranth, Sabaton, Brothers of Metal. Those are the main 4 the past few days, mainly because normally I listen to maybe a few tracks by them, and I was like, you know what? Let's go through the entire fucking set list again. And it's never a bad idea just to listen to the whole set list. And that's at least what I listened to the past few days. Over the weekend, it was obviously more early 2000s dance club music and stuff like that. And, yeah, I actually started listening to Patty and the Rats again.
Okay.
Haven't listened to them in a while.
So that's a throwback.
Still kicks as hard as it did before. I gotta say, since I went back and listened to Beyond the Black stuff again, I forgot they did acoustic covers of some songs last year.
Oh, that's cool.
They did acoustic covers of To Hell and Back, Down with the Sickness, A Warrior's Call, and The Trooper.
Ooh.
I forgot all about it. It's just like, oh, this is amazing.
Okay.
How well do they do the?
I can't say I remember.
Damn, I fucked that up. That was terrible.
I think they did.
I apologize. I have not done that in a while.
I'm gonna say it was probably
God.
better than that.
Hopefully, a lot better than that. Damn,
I don't find that very difficult, but okay.
it's fucking terrible.
Listened to a good amount of Rise Against the other day as well.
I love Rise Against.
Felt rebellious again.
You're gonna feel that when we go see Green Day and Weezer.
Oh my god,
Fall Out
I'm
Boy.
ready for it.
And I'm excited. That's not until August. But I can't wait.
Like I say, it's always fun talking to certain people about the bands I listen to, because it's like, oh yeah, I listen to all these bands, like they're metal. Boy, you want to know what makes them even more metal? This is Sabaton. They make songs exclusively about war.
Yeah.
And then this is Brothers of Metal, which are exclusively about Norse religion. It's just like, yeah, this song, it's about how someone stole Thor's hammer and he killed them all.
Yeah, and then you have Iceland Kills, which is about horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It's just fun to just hop through basically the same genre, but just the feel of the songs changes so much.
And very drastically, too. Like, you can go from one thing with being a certain tonality, and you go to the same genre of another group, and it's completely different feeling.
Yeah. The beauty of metal.
Where the subgenres even have subgenres.
We heard you like genres, so we give your subgenres subgenres.
Basically.
Yeah. I don't necessarily know how I feel about subgenres having subgenres, but
No, well, here we are.
It's amazing. Both my favorite genres have their own subgenres with subgenres.
Yep.
EDM and metal.
Yep. Funny how that works.
Strange.
that's why, like, when I'm talking about, like, an electronic album, I'm always like, how do I word this?
How do I classify what this is?
Where does this actually fit?
And it's
How do I
really,
not sound like an idiot?
and it's always interesting just looking at different bands' profiles because it's just like, oh yeah, it's like, well, at first they said they were just heavy metal, but now they're a combination of power metal, folk, and just thrash, and it's just like, yeah, that kind of just happens when you realize exactly what you are.
Yeah. It's like Motionless in White has, I think, jazz influence with Disguise. In the way it's like structured, I think, and in some of the riffs, I think the structure of some of the riffs is jazz or blues inspired, which is interesting. So, which you would not expect because it's a metalcore group. So,
Yeah, blues is some good shit.
this is true.
Oh yeah.
Very true.
And I mean, it's hard to knock Miles Davis. Miles Davis makes the only jazz I can listen to, and unfortunately, he's no longer with us.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like I said, that's kind of where I've been at. So, moving on, we can go into upcoming releases. If we don't have any news,
I have news.
Do you?
I have news of the news variety.
Okay. What is your news?
Well, one of which I spoke of at the beginning of the pod. About DMX's posthumous album. But of course. So, this is one of my favorite things when two things that I love collide. Cars, music. Dr. Dre's 63 Impala is up for sale.
Oh. What's the starting bid?
Starting bid's $100,000.
Okay, that's not actually that bad.
You can buy it flat out for $150.
Okay, that's actually a lot lower than I was expecting, but it's not bad,
Yeah.
especially for who it's coming from.
Well, it's not actually, like, Dr. Dre doesn't currently own it.
Okay,
So,
but still, like something that's going up for auction that a name like him has possession of to some degree. 150 grand's not like, it's expensive, but it's not as expensive as I was expecting it to be.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah, it's pushing 300 horsepower, has a working hydraulic system.
Of course
So
it
you
does.
can hit
Of course
the-
it does.
So you can hit the 3-wheel motion. Fucking sick. What else do I got?
And you bounce the front end off the street.
Yes. So I was going to talk about J. Cole's first professional basketball game,
Mm-hmm.
but he actually played his second game. Apparently, I believe yesterday.
Okay.
Yeah, it was yesterday. So, yeah, he's playing in the African Basketball League for the Rwanda Patriots. As crazy as that sounds. Like, the man just dropped an album. He's like, "Yo, I'm a basketball
I'm
player
also.
now."
He's like, yo, I also play basketball. It's like, okay. All right.
I mean, most people play basketball and then later on try
Became-
rapping.
This man went backwards.
J. Cole's like, "Yo, I can rap my ass off. Let me try playing basketball."
Let me try my hand at a sport.
What?
Does this correlate? No, I just want to try it. All right. I mean, if he's decent.
Zach Wilde said something that I
Oh.
strongly agree with. He doesn't believe in anyone being the best musician
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
because there's so many different people with so many different views on what is best.
And different skill sets that will favor in different areas.
Yeah, and there's no numbers you can look at.
No, of course not.
You know, you're not scoring points with your guitar riffs. Like,
It's not Guitar Hero.
exactly.
Or Rock Band. Like, you can't just hit a drum and get like 100,000 points or whatever.
Yeah.
No, everybody's got different.
Everybody's got
Skill
different
sets.
tastes.
Everyone's got different
Different
tastes,
skill
skill
sets.
sets, and like different influences from everything. Like, there are rock groups that have influence from jazz and blues.
Yeah.
You look at Linkin Park; they clearly have influence from hip hop and rap because they incorporated it. So it's like, you know, that type of stuff. You can't just pin down like, oh, this is the best band or this is the best musician or artist or whatever. You just can't do it.
That's why I heavily agree with that statement.
You just because at that point you're just undermining everybody else who worked their asses off to get to where they are. Even these, even the people that mumble rap or whatever, they still work to some extent to be where they're at.
Yeah.
So you got to give them credit where credit's due.
I mean, some of them don't.
No, some of them don't, but for the most part, there are some that are, and they do put in some sort of effort.
The successful ones are the ones that put in some form of effort.
Right. So, you know, credit where credit's due. As much as I rag on the genre.
What do you mean? You just called it mumble rap? I don't know. Anyway. Don't know what you're talking about. Alright. But, if anyone else got news?
I do not.
Got nothing.
Alright. Want to roll into the upcoming?
Sure.
See what's coming up.
Would be May 21st, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I got, what is it, 42 Doug dropping Free to Boys. Young and May is dropping Off the Yak.
Okay.
YG and Mozzie is dropping Community Service. What else we got? Spot'em Got'em's dropping The Most Wanted. And Benny the Butcher and 38 Splesh is dropping Trust the Sopranos.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Doesn't sound very exciting, but we'll see.
I'm interested in the Benny the Butcher
Yeah,
project.
I kind of figured as much.
Little interested in the Young and May project. And if YG's name wasn't attached to the Mozzie project,
Mm-hmm.
I'd be more interested. Because I do like Mozzie's music. So,
Bruce, what do you got?
Alright, so going down this list, I've got Blake Shelton is dropping Body Language. Chai is dropping Wink. Colleen is dropping The Tunnel and the Clearing. Fly Pan Am is dropping Frontera. Gary Newman is dropping Intruder. Gruff Riz is dropping Gruff Riz.
Oh, self-titled.
Lord Huron is dropping Long Lost. Mickey Dolans is dropping Mickey Dolenz Sings Nesmith. Nicholas they fucking
You gonna
with
try?
me. I'm gonna try a little bit. Nicholas Krogovich is dropping this spring. I know for a fact that's not right at all.
Probably not. It's okay. We're not language
Olivia-
experts.
Olivia Rodrigo is dropping Sour. Paula Cole is dropping American Quilt. And 21 Pilots are dropping Scaled and Icy.
I might check that one out.
I'm gonna check it out.
So I have slated for the 21st of May. Amorphous, they're dropping a live album and a vinyl collection from 2006 to 2020 box set. So I assume this is going to be everything they have. In Autumn for Crippled Children, it's dropping As the Morning Dawns We Close Our Eyes.
That's great all the way through.
Do I need to say more?
No.
metal. Sure.
Just remember that it's metal and it makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll go with it.
Aaron Jones is dropping Child of the State. The Devil Wears Prada
Ooh.
is dropping an EP.
Haven't heard that name in a while.
Nah, me neither.
They had a song drop a couple, I think a month ago or whatever, and it's good, so I'm excited for this EP. I'm gonna check that out. Divine Heresy is dropping a vinyl re-release of Bleed the Fifth.
Bleed the Fifth.
They're also dropping a vinyl re-release of Bringer of Plagues. Hanging Garden is dropping Skeleton Lake.
How do we make our next album sound more metal than our last? The name.
Just the name.
Lake of Skeletons.
Oh, you're gonna love one coming up. So we have Herman Frank dropping Two for a Lie. Hippie Death Cult, Circle of Days. They're dropping.
Is that Days as in D-A-Z-E?
No.
Okay.
Impure Wilhelmina. Impure Wilhelmina, dropping Antidote.
Yeah, I got to get checked for that.
The Jailbirds dropping the Jungle EP. Jess and the Ancient Ones dropping Vertigo. King Witch with Worship the Riffs EP. Yep. Mike Tramp, Everything Is Alright. Monster Magnet is dropping A Better Dystopia. Nadja is dropping Luminous Rot. Pop Evil is dropping Versatile, which I may check out. Skeletal Remains is dropping three re-releases of Desolate Isolation, Condemned to Misery, and Beyond the Flesh. And then Thunder Mother is dropping Heatwave Deluxe Edition. Tooth and Claw is dropping Dream of Ascension. Trick or Treat is dropping the Unlocked Songs.
It's a bit early for that, isn't it?
There's I think it's a collaboration record coming out called Metal Massacre 15.
Metal Massacre 15.
Yes. Because it's under various artists, so it's like a collection of different things.
Well, I figured that when there was a 15 on it, so I'm assuming it's volume 15, but...
Yes, probably.
Okay.
That implies that there are 14 other ones at some point. Which is...
Or they're just tricking us.
Or yeah, maybe. This is metal, you never know.
It could just be a band called Various Artists.
You know, I wonder if someone's tried that. We have Vexed dropping Calling Culture. Volus dropping Witness. Vulture is dropping Deal in Death. Witch, spelled W-Y-T-C-H.
Wah.
Is dropping Exordium. And Yalha?
Yeah.
Yalha? I don't know. They're dropping The Lurch. And that is my list.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Just
It's a good list right there.
In Autumn for Crippled Children. That's a hell of a name. some of the group names and album names that come out of my genre are great.
So sometimes I'm like, there's no way that you can think of a weirder name for a band or a song title for metal. And then you get something like Skeleton Lake.
Yep, and you get one-upped every time.
Yeah. What the actual fuck is that genre?
Yep.
With the names. I enjoy the genre. It's the names.
It's the names that come out of it.
What the hell's going on?
But that does conclude episode 44 of the Music Shack podcast this week. As always, if you enjoyed, you know what to do.
Like, subscribe, comment below, because it helps.
Yep, hit the bell if you're on YouTube so you can keep notified when we drop a new episode every week. And yeah, just enjoy the noise. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep. As always, player, one love, mosh and rave responsibly. That's about all I got. Avoid skeleton lakes. Unless you want to listen to the album, then go right ahead. Oh,
that's awkward.
it is very awkward. This is
Well,
this is what we're dealing with now, because this guy brought up a fucking country album at the start of his list.
hold on, let me put my hat back
Have
on.
a great week.
You